Hi, my name is Aisha. Welcome to One Elder Speaks. Trying this out in nature, but I got to tell you, there's a ton of cars out here. Okay, so my last video, I was talking about the abandonment wound. That's pretty much an old one and probably familial as well as personal. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to follow that video up fairly quickly with a practice that would help change the program that would be running during that time. And I got sick and had some family stuff come up, so I've been out of pocket for a minute and a half. So let me just kind of dive into it fairly quickly. Basically, how I change my programming is I'll take whatever is running through my head and change the dialogue. So the dialogue for the abandonment is, I'm alone, I'm always going to be alone, there's no one there for me. And I even had, somebody popped up with an orphan card and a card reading, and I was like, that just felt so true and real to me. So I know what the speak is in my head. So now I've got to figure out how to reprogram, a much better dialogue for myself. So anytime I hear myself say I'm alone or, there's nobody here for me, I have to change that program to I am never alone. I always walk with spirit. Because the truth is I do believe that spirit is with me at all times. And not only my higher self, but my lower selves, my ego. Those, my shadow. Not only that, but the people that have, or the individual soul energies that have decided to be a part of my spirit team, my guides, my animal totems, all these things, my God. This is all a part of me, and this is all a part of all of us. It's not like we don't escape it. We're all energy. We're all together in all of this. This is all ours together. We own this together. We're responsible for it together, period. And I believe that to the bottom of my heart. So now, every time I hear that voice saying, I'm all alone, or whatever, I have to say, no, you're never alone. But I don't like to use nots and nevers in my dialogue. So my inner dialogue is now like, I walk in spirit. I always have my spirit team with me. I always have everybody who, basically everybody who has ever lived. You know what I mean? Like, we're all connected. Plant, animal, cosmological, phenomena. We're all connected. I am never alone. I am always with everybody, always. And I always have my team, and I always have my the dimensions, the different dimensions of myself, and I always have, it's so I have to change the dialogue in my mind into something that says, I'm not alone, and that I never am alone. And so I've been working on that, and it's been working out pretty good. I'm not going to complain. I think it's pretty good. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is I wanted to give you guys a story, kind of little information on, because you hear a lot about twin flames and soulmates and all this other stuff, and everybody has their own definition of what those words actually mean, and it makes it very confusing. So let me kind of give you what I ran into and what I believe is my truth. Okay, so when I was in my 20s, I had decided that I was feeling alone, like I generally did back then, and I was, I guess kind of calling out on a spirit level to meet up with my soulmate. And I was in a half dream, half wake stage, I was fixing to go to sleep. And it was weird because I don't know if you ever saw the movie from 1980, Altered States, But it felt like that. It was like I was going backwards in time and backwards in time and backwards in time. But it was like millennial of time. You know, it was like I was going back and back and back and back and boop. And then I was in a room with a guy. And I understood at that point that that was the other half of me. Like at the beginning of our experience in a duality situation, we split. And in order to experience whatever it was that we were meant to experience. And I boy, I tell you what, one of the first things he was so kind and so gentle and loving. And I knew, man, my first reaction to him was I in that half dream state, as I kind of made a bed in the room that we were in. And because my thinking back then was you slept with people and that's how you kind of nabbed them, you know, that's how you did it, which is hysterical now because, you know, it means absolutely nothing now. And and he just, you know, asked me my name and told me his, and was just very kind and just sweet. And that was not where my head was at that moment. Like in that moment in my life, I was very ego-driven. I was very self-centered. I was very just stuck on you know, my sadness and my depression and that always drives you to be more self-centered because you can't see the outside world for all the sad that's going on inside. You just focus on that, and I was in that space. I was not in a good place. I didn't feel worthy. Hell, I didn't feel loved, and I didn't feel like I deserved love. And he was so ultra kind to me. And so I knew that he was light years ahead of me on the maturity scale because he had worked through a lot of his stuff, and I knew that. I could tell. And I kind of, in that dream state, I kind of slunk away because I felt inadequate and because I didn't feel like I deserved. I was pretty much devastated when I came out of that dream state. I really was. You know, there's another reason to hate myself, I guess. But I was also I was starting to work through my stuff at that time. So, you know, that would be another level of working through that as well. But I understood that he was in a different place mentally and emotionally, maturity-wise, and I knew that I had a lot of work to do. And so, I mean, that's probably partly what drove me to do the work that I needed to do. Just knowing that I wanted to reach that space and be with him at some point again. Throughout the years, I have contacted him and spoke to him, and just in my mind's eye and in my dream states, and just, you know, hung out with him and talked to him, but not having any expectations of what that would mean. So, let all these guys pass by. Well, thank God they're not slinging mud my way. Good Lord. Oh, that's not a good position to be in. That's where he's going to be. Okay. So, throughout the years I've spoke to him, and he's offered me constellation, basically, just an ear, and just, you know, you got this, you can do this. And that's what I've gotten in my dream states and in my just, you know, connections with him. But I understood that he had family and he had a wife and he had family and he had a wife and he had kids and he had grandkids and he had his whole, you know, he had his whole thing. And that I may not ever meet him in this lifetime, and we may not be getting together in this lifetime, and that at some point that became very much okay, because whoever it is that we're supposed to be with is who we're going to be with, and whoever it is that we need to work through our relationships with. It's who we're going to work through our relationships with. Energetically, we attract what it is that we need, and so that's what we're going to be working through. So that, to me, a lot of people, I guess, can be your soulmate or your twin flame, depending upon what you define those things to be. I don't believe that there's any one person for any one lifetime. I do believe that there's multiple people for multiple lifetimes, and that we choose at every moment of every day who that person's going to be. We always have free will. And whoever we choose is exactly who we're supposed to be with. And if we are not being with anybody, then that's also a valid choice as well. So I'm going to leave it at that. Traffic's getting kind of crazy out here. Y'all have a lovely month, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.